Warning, incoming game over. Warning, incoming game over. Warning, incoming game over.
Hello, everybody. Um, Sorry about that. I am here today with AJ Haeflele, from DNVR. After a game, what was certainly a game. How are we feeling?
Ultimately 2 points is the point,
Yeah,
so I feel more relief than joy, but um, you know, I'm it's fine.
yeah,
We'll talk through it, but uh, it went from being a cozy third period to a stressful finish to the night.
yeah. I was just telling AJ that I kind of started off, kind of getting ready to stream and getting my stuff set up because as everybody knows, I am notoriously really good at starting on time. Um, much like the Habs, apparently. But as soon as I saw the second goal, I was like, or the 4-2 goal, I was like, okay, well, looks like something might be cooking. And then for the third, because it happened so quickly with Slav, I don't know, this team really never quits, which is great. I wasn't expecting even 1 point out of this, so the fact that we got that, I don't know, I'm just really happy. Would have loved a second. Honestly, would have really loved a second, but I think this is doable. 0 would have really hurt. Um, so for those who just want a little bit of a recap, the Avs won 5-4 in overtime. We went into the fourth period, I believe that we were up 3-1. The Avs were up 3-1. Then they scored a fourth. Things seemed like really awful. Then the Habs kind of just came storming back, and it seemed like, the Bell Center was rocking, as the Bell Center tends to do, and seems like the boys fed off it, and here we are, in overtime. Then overtime honestly seemed to be going really well. They did pretty good, and then the shootout being the shootout, I don't think any honestly, you can't really be a shootout is a 50-50, right? Like I think the fact that like Monty even made those overtime saves, like the overtime is even like kind of worthwhile talking about. Not really, but kind of. But the shootout is like it's just a toss of the coin, toss of the coin. Yeah, got there in the end. Uh, I imagine your roller coaster of emotions were a little bit different there, AJ.
Yeah, it was a high, and then it was an extreme crash, and then overtime happened. And honestly, just getting to overtime was like, okay, at worst, this Avalanche road trip will finish 1-1-1, which is
Hmm.
acceptable, but blowing a 4-1 lead in the last 11 minutes of regulation would have made 1-1-1 feel a little disastery. But,
Hmm.
big picture perspective, you can live with it. You don't love it. Then overtime took place, and the Avs don't score on the uh, the power play that they get. They outshoot Montreal 7-1 in the extra period and don't get it done. They go into a shootout. Mackenzie Blackwood hates shootouts. He's on record saying he hates shootouts. He's not good at them. He's 0-4 in them this year going into them. And so naturally, all of that adds up to Colorado sneaking out that second point, which they don't need nearly as much as Montreal. So, uh,
Christian
you
Dvorak
know,
special with that shootout. That was a that was a Christian Dvorak special. Which complete side note, but I think we've talked a little bit about how you before Montreal kept an eye on. Obviously, he was in Arizona, I want to say.
yeah.
And you kept a kind of like an eye on him, and we're like, ah, that's a guy. And I'll tell you, that guy is not the guy you saw today anymore. He is a little cooked, but hey, apparently not. Apparently, he said a big F you to me. Um, so what a game. Uh, let's just kind of go over the first period, I guess. By which I mean I was so mad the entire time. I was steaming. I
Yeah.
was crash out of all crash outs happening. Like I was it was rough. Because the thing is like I always feel like, guys, please don't embarrass me in front of my friends. Because it's like one of the only games that a lot of Avs fans like, obviously one of the only games that they watch of the Habs, like 1 out of 2.
Yeah.
And I'm like, come on. Don't like embarrass me like that." Um, and that that's exactly what they did. It really just looked like they were overwhelmed by Colorado's speed. Um, I think the one guy we have who's as speedy as Colorado is, you know, former Colorado Avalanche, Alex Newhook, who man, that boy can skate. Like, he's a fat that boy can skate, is what I can say.
Yeah, watching some of his speed tonight, I was reminded of all the when New Hook, when he becomes Old Hook, he's gonna be so good, and all the hope that we had for him growing up, and then it was like, well, he's gone now, so I don't care what he becomes when he grows up. And then it was like, I was surprised he didn't go in the shootout, honestly. I was ready for the Alex Newhook dagger to my heart. I was like, here it comes. This is gonna suck.
I was expecting it in overtime, to be honest. He's just had such bad puck luck. Um, every time they zoom to him on the bench after he misses a very open net, he just has this tortured look on his face. And I sometimes think it's like just like his default expression is just a little bit like he just kind of looks like he's in pain. But sometimes he really looks like he's in pain, you know? So he's been having some rough luck. I expected him to break out today. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, this is the perfect time. And turns out it was not. Um,
I mean, he makes a great play on the 4-2 goal to kind of get the
he
Montreal
does.
comeback going. So it was a great play by him and awful play by Colorado's top D pairing, but
Yeah.
um, he was good. And I mean, he had chances at the end. He had some of Montreal's best chances once it got tied to win it for them. And
Yeah.
Mackenzie Blackwood lets in a couple of muffins and takes it back at the end. So
Yeah. Yeah.
good for him.
I mean, I heard the crowd chanting his name. And I was like, guys, you are really playing with fire here. If there's one thing goalies like, it's to like either they'll break down, in a situation like that, a crowd that loud is like going at you that hard. It's either gonna cause you to like completely lose it, or it's gonna make you lock in. And I kind of always suspected that Blackwood would lock in, and that he did. Um, but again, uh, I'm pretty happy with that. Uh, Frederick in the chat says, "Don't forget Anderson. He's probably just as fast as Newhook." Yeah, Andy can skate. He'll just go from
Very
one.
fast.
He's very fast. Listen, even if he's not, even at his worst, even when he was having the worst season of his life, um, that boy skates. To quote myself. So just like to
Yeah,
thank
the Avs
everybody in
love
the
that guy too.
do you?
Yeah, they do. They tried to get him out of Columbus. During some of his time in Montreal, they've tried to get him out of there. Couldn't
Mhm.
couldn't make it happen. And I mean, you can see why. He's such an Avs style.
Yeah.
That the speed and the size and what used to be really good goal scoring ability.
Mhm,
He's always been like one of their guys that if they ever had a chance at him,
mhm,
hey, give it a year. But when he gets to the end of that contract, either he ends up a free agent or trade deadline. That's
mhm.
they
I'm
love
keeping
that guy.
yeah, you're keeping an eye on him. That honestly makes a lot of sense. He fits the bill, for the kind of big boy, moves fast. Even honestly, he's playing third line now. He's not really expected to score that much. He's been really good. I think he's just embraced that side of his game. That was really just again, the bottom 6 kind of role because his hands just weren't going anymore for whatever reason. But we'll talk about that later. I know we wanted to talk about some individual players, including Nick Suzuki. I will get you to say nice things about him. Um, I know that, you have nice things to say, otherwise you would have been
Yeah, it
banned
won't
from
be hard.
this. Yeah, exactly, exactly. Um, but yeah, second period, come out, they seem the thing that struck me is that the shots kind of evened up a little bit, but the Avs were so good about keeping them out of their out of high danger kind of shot areas. I believe it was something like 7 high danger chance for the Avs and 0 for the Habs. So that was a little bit looking. I was like, it adds up. Because listen, I'm glad that they were shooting because they don't do a lot of that. The Habs, or they didn't. I believe they were one of the last teams to ever get to 30 shots this season. Yeah, it was really frustrating. Um, but hey, they start shooting.
Somehow still didn't tonight.
They didn't.
Got to 29.
Incredible. They they knew I was they knew I was watching, and they were like, "Hey, here's a Nathan McKinnon tidbit for you." And I was like, "All right, I'll have the 29 since he's not scoring or doing anything these days." Uh,
Pretty
I,
quiet night again for him.
yeah, I don't know. I'm waiting for something to happen here. Drysaitl's out, man. Time to grab that and take it.
Yeah,
Um,
let's go. Win you and Art Ross. Come on, Nate. Take
Exactly,
this seriously.
exactly, exactly. Do you not understand that I'm personally going to be really upset if this doesn't happen? Um, it's really not happy. And
Yeah,
then let's
I need him to
yeah,
get this going
come
a
on,
little.
come
I'm
on.
so sick of hearing about Edmonton.
Yeah, come on, let's go. Let's keep going. Um, third period. I know you said that uh the first pairing, um, they had their moments. Um, what do you think happened with the Avs? What do you think were the Habs just able to keep pushing? Was it just they fell asleep? They've played 3 games in 4, days, but they also didn't
Yeah.
play a lot in Ottawa, if I recall correctly. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, the top pairing, I think they got up 4-1 and then they just got cozy. And
Mm,
they were like, "Oh, like that was it. That's what we need." Because they came out on fire at the start of the third period. They were like, "We're gonna get this fourth goal. We're pushing
mhm,
this to 4-1. We're gonna put the dagger in them. They're gonna go away, and then it'll be like in Ottawa, where there won't be a lot of pushback. We'll
mhm,
be cozy, and then that if there's one stark contrast between the DNA of the Montreal Canadiens and the Ottawa Senators, it's the third periods of those games.
mm,
The Habs just would not go away, and anybody that's familiar with this Habs team would know that's not how this is about to happen. And for the Avs to just not take it seriously like that was ridiculous and
mhm,
frustrating from our perspective.
mhm,
And I, you know, they put they really put the screws to the Avs in that stretch, but Mackenzie Blackwood has to have two of those. I mean, two of those goals are bad.
yeah, I can't
And
remember which one it was, but I think it was the Slav one that he just nothing was
yeah,
blocking, it was
yep,
just went in.
the the puck just teleports through his body, and you're like, it's not Nightcrawler, man. You should have had this thing. What's going on here?
Mhm,
So that's that, and the Dvorak goal. I'm like, are you for real with this? It's a nice shot, but are you for real with this? It's a backhand. It goes over your shoulder on the shorts. Give me a break, dude. So that was, and the Waugh goal is you need better from your defenders.
mhm,
I don't think Blackwood does anything wrong there. So I mean, I think Colorado's defense fed the beast a little bit,
mhm,
um, because the Habs were just taking it to them,
mhm.
and Blackwood folded up shop
Yeah,
until it was tied.
yeah,
Once it got tied, it came back on because he made a couple of fantastic saves after that, and
mhm.
then obviously is great in the shootout, which weird, but
New for him.
yeah, like a new maybe he likes it now. Maybe now that he's won one, he'll be like, maybe shootouts aren't so bad, and he'll take them seriously. But I mean, Montreal just got lit up. They made it. I mean, Newhook makes a great play. Colorado's top guys they fall asleep, and that's the perfect recipe. You get a building dying for something to cheer about. They got something to cheer about, and Colorado just did not handle that moment well at all.
Mhm,
From a Colorado perspective, to see them do this twice in a week, where they blow the third period lead, a 2-goal lead against Dallas, and then have to win it in overtime, to then blow a 3-goal lead against Montreal 6 days later. It's one of those, like, if it happens all the time, you start to get concerned about it. Is it just a week thing? Is it
mhm.
just they just had a weird week? Is the overarching narrative, I don't know the answer to that, but in this one, it just is an isolated. Uh, I mean, you have to give Montreal a lot of credit, but I'm looking at Mackenzie Blackwood and saying, brother, you need saves.
Yeah, yeah. We can talk a little bit about saves, and how you sometimes need them, and sometimes, we can have a goalie conversation. We can have a your kind of top guys conversation. But first, I am going to toss you guys over. Well, first, I'm gonna say hello. I'm seeing some new people again. We are Game Over Montreal, or I am Game Over Montreal. Today, AJ is Game Over Montreal. We are all Game Over Montreal here. And we are really happy to have you here. I am going to send you off to Andrew, who is going to tell you a little bit more about one of our lovely sponsors, Inchoo Bijoux. They do some wonderful jewelry, and he is going to tell you more about that now.
We are so excited to tell you about our new partner here at Game Over Montreal, a delightfully witchy goth and glam jewelry store making handcrafted art that varies from subtle silver to gold pieces to glamorous bespoke. Inchoo Bijoux is more than just a company. They've built a community through advocacy and a welcoming attitude that has made them an institution here in Montreal. Located in the historic Chateau Saint Ambroise, Inchoo Bijoux also runs seasonal themed markets called Maleficarum Market or Marché Maleficarum en français, where artisans from all over get together and showcase and sell their wares. Drop by 4000 Rue Saint Ambroise, Suite 278, and say hi to Astrid and the Wicked team, or head to inchoobijou.com and enhance your style. The next Maleficarum Market will be on the weekend of February 8th and 9th. We'll see you there. Now, let's get back to the show, but before you do, make sure you subscribe to Game Over Montreal, Game Over Network, and smash like on this video because it really helps us out.
Okay, we are back. AJ is also back. I made sure of that, guys. Um,
She won't let me
so,
leave.
huh?
Said she won't let me leave.
No, I won't. Absolutely not. I worked very hard to get you to con you into coming here, frankly. So I don't know how you think you're getting away. Um, I actually, before just on camera, before we got on the call, I asked AJ, I was like, so how long can you stay on this call? And AJ was like, kind of just like told me, oh, I have to do the post game, blah, blah, blah. But I was like, you need to give me a number, otherwise I will keep you. I'm a yapper. I'll yap. But
Yeah, I didn't have writing.
there, yeah, you have a job. Um,
Yeah,
so kind of speaking
subtle
of,
flex.
I mean, damn, dunk on me, I guess. But speaking of like, bigger picture kind of, goalies are a conversation to be had, and I'm sure the chat will have them, and I'm sure that I will have them over the next few games, as well as my wonderful co-hosts. But a conversation that is always going to exist, but one that I like to have a lot more, is the Nick Suzuki conversation. Um, well, let's just start with what did you think of his game today specifically?
Um, it was. It's the. It's tough because the games were such extremes.
Mhm.
Like Colorado blew their doors off for the first
Mhm.
30 minutes of the game, and then they get up 4-1, and Montreal really starts to push like crazy. So individually, I didn't think it was. For Suzuki, there were things that I like. All the things that I really liked out of him came defensively,
Mhm.
which is pretty standard for me with
Yeah.
Nick Suzuki.
Yeah.
I think he's awesome. I love him in the defensive zone. In the offensive zone, he's like good.
Mhm. Mhm.
And I think tonight was probably just that.
Yeah.
He did a lot of things defensively that I liked a lot. And then offensively, it was fine.
Yeah. Yeah. I think ultimately when this team is hopefully at its best and hopefully in a place where they're actually, seriously a threat for the cup, uh you're hoping that a lot of the offense will come from a guy like Demidov. Obviously, you can't just rely on a guy like Demidov, but when you have what it seems like you have in Demidov, if that's what you get, you kind of you don't sit back, but you let that guy do his thing, right? Like you're not gonna. He's like Line in that way where you're not really expecting him to do a whole lot. Like he will do a whole lot else. Like that seems to be the profile, but you're not. That's not his main responsibility.
Different players, but kind of the way that Eriksson Ek lets Kaprizov do his thing in Minnesota, and he
Mhm.
handles the defensive zone. He does all the dirty work. I would say that that would be the future for Suzuki and Demidov specifically is um, let him be kind of the matchup monster, the guy that takes on the top guys, and then let Demidov be your really high skill, high end, um, you know, goal scoring, playmaking, whatever. I mean, Demidov's gonna be amazing. So um, whatever, all the things that he will be one day. And Suzuki, I think that's kind of the comparable that I would try to
Mhm.
emulate.
Mhm. I mean, ultimately, listen, whatever whatever gets that team the cup, I think Nick Suzuki really would just do anything that would lead to that. He really has just stepped up so much as a leader this year. But as
Yeah,
much
he's
as
he's great. I
Mhm,
love watching him from afar. He's great. Was not amazing head to head against Colorado's top guys tonight.
yeah.
Um, but did what I mean, tore up Colorado's bottom guys, which is like that's what you should do. And
Yeah.
there's no shame in having a not amazing night head to head against Kale McCarr. Like
Mhm,
it's not like, oh no, he's not going to be any good now. Like if
yeah.
he's Kale McCarr,
Mhm,
Kale McCarr's done some things to some really good players in this league. So
mhm.
no shame in that.
I would agree with that. I think, you're always hoping, you're praying and hoping, but ultimately, if I'm not sure how the matchups ended up working exactly at the end of the day, but as listen, if he has to fail in those matchups for other players on the team to thrive and other lines to thrive, you'll take it, right? Like you're not going to who are you to be like, no, only Nick can score. That's kind of been the problem with this team, is it seems like sometimes only the first line can score. Which to another extent is something
Relatable.
that sounds really relatable from the Avs point of view, right?
Very
Uh,
familiar to me. Yes.
um, I saw someone say, Terry says the impressive thing about the Avs is that they can roll four lines that are relentless. And you would not believe the narrative that the Avs have had to deal with for a long time.
It's
I,
taken 9 in-season trades and about their entire future to get us there, but we're there. We're
we're
there for
there.
about 11 more regular season games and whatever the spring has to offer. We're there. It will not be the case next season, but we're there right now.
Hey, you'll keep Charlie Coyle. Let's
Right.
go.
Took what, 8 games for us to get his first goal, and it happened in a shootout. I mean, I'll take it, but like,
He's not, scoring the lights out, shooting the lights. I don't know. Whatever that saying is. Um
he's not doing anything to lights.
To me, it's like it's a situation of like I almost for personally for the Avs for the Habs, this always happens. For the Montreal Canadiens, when they're just not good enough to survive without more of their guys going. Like I So the fourth line was a big, the Jake Evans, Joel Armia, and Emil Heineman, now that he's back from getting hit by a car, um, was kind of Marty's like go-to line. Like that really was he starts that line when he needs energy going. And they've stepped back a little bit, but now you have the third line of Dvorak, Anderson, and Gallagher. Yes, Galley. Kind of stepping up a little bit. The second line is still trying to get it together. Mr. Wawa is up, playing his games. He's getting his time. Um, Patrick Laine is buying in, question mark. Like I actually he's been doing a lot, like a lot on the on the side of the puck that isn't just shooting it at the net, he's definitely coming back. His knee seems to be doing a lot better, in terms of he's gaining that speed back, and then Alex Newhook is just doing Alex Newhook things, which is he's working so hard to create. I honestly feel I honestly feel bad for him at this point because nothing's going in. Um, but
Also a familiar thing from him.
right? I'm like, I've watched this movie before. Um,
Yes, lived through plenty of this.
I watched this movie so many times, AJ. Uh, but I think that like the first line really is what you live and die by. Juraj Slafkovsky is really coming into his own. He's a frustrating player because he's just a baby. Like he's turning 20, 21 like soon. Like he's just a guy. Um he's still learning, he's still improving. Um Cole Caulfield as AJ, I think you have him on your fantasy team. So
I do.
every single time that the Habs play, AJ will DM me be like, "I am owed a goal," and I'm like, "I am also owed a goal by Cole Caulfield, AJ." And then you have Nick
Tonight was
Suzuki.
acceptable.
I
Tonight
I
was
I think you'll
acceptable.
take it. I think you'll take it. But then you have Nick Suzuki who really is just driving that line. Like you said, he's so important to this team. Like, I know that you liked him even before he was Montreal Canadiens captain, prestigious. I love to be this annoying about this kind of thing because I know that it bothers non-original six team fans. So I love to do this, but
It's not something I ever have to worry about. So you guys, y'all have your existence, and I have mine.
listen, the Nordiques in there. Listen, we're not gonna get into this. It's fine. We don't need to talk Nordiques. We don't need to talk about apples.
We do not. We both would like to pretend that that is not something that is in existence.
No, no, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Um, you know what? I would also hi Trinka. I hope you enjoyed your cheesecake. Trinka was missing the first part of our show because she was enjoying the cheesecake, which I'm glad. Um,
Yeah, now I'm jealous.
I know I want a cheesecake now. Um, but okay, listen, as a completely no, somebody who doesn't have to be yelled at if they say something. Um, what do you see out of Saint Montebello? Like, what was it today about his game that you what did you see, I guess, is all I'll leave it at.
Some some big saves. I don't think that the goals against I really had a big issue with. Came very close to getting lit up, like lit up, because Kale McCarr has posts, Devon Taves hits a post, like, uh, but frankly, the same is true for Blackwood on the other side. There's something like what, like 6 posts hit in this game. Like there was a lot of iron drawn. So Montebo came very like within inches of getting rocked. But the world that you almost live in is not necessarily the world that you do live in. And for him, playing in the game that he's in and not the one he could have been in was great because whatever was in front of him, he handled. And losing in a shootout, who cares? Who cares?
Yeah.
Um, so I thought he was great. And you look at especially in overtime, he's the only thing that happened for them in overtime
Yeah.
that mattered.
Yeah.
Um, because otherwise, that doesn't even get to a shootout. He was stellar in OT, and without that, they don't even have a shot at the second point. And especially on that PK, he was essentially their only penalty killer. I don't care about the clears down the ice. Entries in a 4-on-3 are so easy that it's 10 seconds, 15 seconds, whatever. Um, so they teed off. They had such great scoring chances on him in overtime that he was really really good. It
Mhm.
kind of tracks. I don't watch a ton of uh, Montembeau games,
Mhm.
but I like him. I don't know what kind of high end there is from him, but uh, I feel more uncomfortable talking about like the future of a goaltender than
Yeah.
any other position, just because who freaking knows?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like the Avs have had young goaltenders that goalie people have been obsessed with, and then they get to the league and they can't play.
Mhm.
And then they've had guys that were like, this guy's a bum. Then he gets to the league and he sticks.
Yeah.
You know, so they're all over the place.
Hmm.
And with Montembeau, I if there's one thing that I've liked in the games that I've seen is that I think he's got a little bit of that moxie. You know, he's got that grit where he'll battle.
Hmm.
Um, I don't see him fold up shop a whole lot, so maybe that's just a that limited viewing experience. But from where I've seen him, that's what I like about him more than anything else. I love a goalie that battles.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's something that I really appreciate about him too, especially because Um, not to bring up pure poor Primo, when he isn't even involved, he's catching strays, but, like, that's something that we saw in him a lot, was, like, kind of the first goes in, the second goes in, third goes in, we had some of that with Monty, like, at the start of the season, but, like, that was the entire team, really. It's neither here nor there. But I feel like he's a good battler, but so is Dobesh, and I would at Marty, I would love to see Dobesh again sometime. I've forgotten his beautiful face. Would love to see it. I feel like I haven't seen my son in so long. So please start him again at some point. I feel like Monty could use a bit of a breather. He could just, give him a sec. Um, we're going to talk a little bit more about stuff and things, but first, I am going to tell you guys about Game Over's Patreon. So, are you looking for ways to help an upstart media company employing over 30 young journalists across Canada? If you're Canadian, then you're supporting Canadian, and if you're not, we'll take this as an apology. If you have a few
Fair enough.
if you have a few spare bucks kicking around, we'd really appreciate if you could head to our Patreon page at patreon.com/the Game Over Network. You'll find several different tiers, including a free one if you can't afford to support us, which is totally okay. But if you can, there's extra access, exclusive looks behind the scene, Discord benefits, merch discounts, opportunities to give us direct feedback, and be part of special shows live. Um, but again, like I said, if you're not able to spare a few dollars, we also have a free tier available, so you don't miss out. But we would love if you could really help us out by subscribing or clicking like if you like our stream. Rate us on your podcast app because we also do an audio only version. So please head over to to patreon.com/the game over and check out more of our stuff and things. um, so kind of moving
Love
on,
stuff and things.
you'll see. I can promise nothing. Um, kind of to moving on to the third. Um, listen, AJ, I'm just gonna. I'm not sure if you have anything to say about this, but I'm gonna say it because the chat really wants to say it. David Savard cannot come back next year. He is great in the room. He is good for the young defenseman. He's clearly Papa Savard. He cannot come back for this team. Um, I'm sure,
Sounds like
every
honestly, that was a great description of an assistant coach. Great in the room, can't play in the NHL.
listen, I wouldn't mind if he was part of the team. He's been especially very good at coaching some of the young defensemen. Arbor Jacki has been really complimentary. You have Lane Hudson, which I can't believe we haven't talked about Lane Hudson. We have Caden Gooley giving like everybody's given him so much praise. He's been so important. But man, I he loves to he loves to block shots, but he has a lot of trouble getting back up once he's down. And it's just a little sad to see sometimes.
He's blocked a lot of shots. The body has taken
Exactly.
the beating of a champion. He won a cup for a reason. Like he's had a great career. He's washed. You know this. I was having nightmares about the idea of him being an Av at the deadline because I mean I'm thrilled it was Eric Johnson instead of David Savard. Thank whatever deity you believe in that it ended up being Eric Johnson and not David Savard because uh, Savard's done. He seems like a great classic veteraniness type of guy, but I lived through this over the last couple of years with Jack Johnson. Done.
Yeah, I feel like every coach kind of has their guy. Um, and
Yeah,
it's
Keaton
usually
Middleton. Look at Keaton Middleton. Keep going. Oh my God, still finding his way.
man, okay. So this probably isn't the right platform because it's more ads focused, but man, Miles Wood, uh, big fan of that contract, personally, me, myself, and I.
Oh,
Um, I think that's a bit of a tale about what kind of stuff you can talk yourself into as a general manager, I think. Um, that's something I fear uh about the rebuild, really. Just the process in general. You I really don't want them to sign Christian Dvorak again. I'm so glad he's having a good time. I'm so glad that he's Cole Caulfield's best friend, but I can't do this. I cannot do this. Um, the Jake Evans contract, good enough. I'm not mad about that. I thought it'd be a lot more expensive than it turned out to be. A hell of a bargain. Clearly wants to stay. Love that. Um, but for me personally, I look at the as rebuild. And I know it was a lot of suffering. Like that one season, insane, awful, 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 awful.
we don't
But
talk about that.
but there is a luck that comes along with that in terms of like, you got Miko Rantanen, you got Miko Rantanen, Judas, sorry, uh, you got Nathan McKinnon, you got Kale McCarr. It's about drafting too, but the Avs are a champion team, and I think they're a really great like organization in terms of something that's. I feel like as long as you have Nathan McKinnon and you Kale McCarr, you have a chance. But what's kind of something that like as the Avs kind of move into this next portion of their rebuild, or as the Habs go into their next section of the rebuild, like what are your thoughts about this? Like, I feel like the Habs never bottomed out the way that they were kind of encouraged to, the Chicago style. And
Yeah,
I don't love the idea of that. What are your kind of thoughts on that?
I think they're. I think it's probably too late for them to try and say, "Oh, hey, we need to, you know, do what Chicago and San Jose have been doing, right?" Like
Mhm,
they've got they're in kind of that weird spot right now where they have players who are young enough and they're good enough that they're going to be able to be kind of in the spot that they're in right now.
mhm.
Finding the Christian Dvoraks of the world to fill out your roster is extremely easy,
Yeah,
and the guys in that $3 to $5 million range are the ones that general managers make the biggest mistakes on, most consistently, because you end up looking like the Seattle Kraken if you make a lot of those mistakes. And you look at where Montreal is right now, and I can't say that I'm uh, deeply familiar with their system, but my big question is like who's the number one, like Ryan Bacher's had all the injury issues, right? But his draft year, I loved him. I thought drafting him where they did was a choice,
yeah,
but I love the guy's game. And is he going to be a top pairing guy? Is he going to be able to handle all the matchups? As long as they have that guy to believe in, then at least there's some hope there. But who's going to be the guy on defense? Because Lane Hudson is a stick of dynamite. He's a lot of fun, and
yeah.
he's in the right era. He's in the right era to be here in this version of the NHL. His defending has to get better. It's not good. Um,
Sure it will. I'm sure it will.
he's a kid. He's a rookie in the NHL. Almost no rookie is good at defending in the league. So it's like there's plenty of reason to believe that he's going to be a really really special offensive player. Defensively, is he going to be able to get to enough of a good enough player in his own zone that they can build around him? Is Nick Suzuki like a number one? It's fair enough, but
Yeah.
like that's where you look at Ryan O'Reilly, the 2019 Blues team that won the cup, and you say, hey, you build enough of a good enough roster around that guy, his two-way ability, and him being an 80-point center, yeah, that's good enough. But you do have to build, all the points that he's not scoring have to come from somewhere else on your roster. So
Mhm.
that means that the rest of your roster has to be that much better.
Yeah.
Slafkovsky, is he going to be able to get there? You're not wrong when you talk about him being a baby. he looks like one of those guys that got really big really fast, and I don't know if this is the case with him, but it looks like he had like a huge growth spurt, and he's still trying to figure out how to use all of his limbs in an NHL manner. Like he's uh, you see the beginning of Bambi, who's
Yeah.
like sprawled out on the ice trying to figure it all out. He looks like that a lot of the time to me.
Mhm,
But you could see all the makings of the special power forward of like him being one of the premier power forwards in the NHL moving forward. Then you
mhm,
throw in Demidov obviously is on the way. I think he's just Kaprizov personally. So there's some really, really, really exciting forward talent already on hand. My
mhm,
question is mostly about the defense, and then yeah, until you know what Monty has in net, you don't feel 100% sold on that position,
mhm.
and you can end up chasing like Colorado has spent this entire time just chasing goaltenders. Oh,
Yeah.
we'll just keep paying every couple of years. We'll just keep paying for somebody's backup that we think is ready to be a starter. The one time that we paid for an actual starter, we won the Stanley Cup. Let's go for another backup. Like you can end up chasing at that position more than any other. So
Mhm,
with the Canadiens, I just kind of wonder where that high end is gonna come from.
mhm.
There are guys that you can believe in, but if it's not gonna be Demidov and Slafkovsky and Reinbacher, then you got to find it somewhere.
Yeah, you're gonna spend
Had
money
had
there.
exactly had Miko been had he gone into free agency like he should have, instead of this traitorous nonsense that he pulled,
Yeah.
then he would have been a really really good candidate for that. But instead, this is the room that everybody's in, and we all kind of hate it.
Yeah, yeah. No, so I do see Gregory in the chat saying the Habs never bottomed out. They picked or question mark, question mark, question mark. No, I think we're talking about like completely tearing it to the studs. The way that Chicago kind of did, where there is nothing to insulate Connor Bedard. Personally, I'm of the opinion that I think that's a really it's high risk, high reward. I think more
They're ruining
often
him.
I think more often than not, it's a lot of risk, more risk than reward. Um, I do think that we got a little, and we've talked very briefly about this, but Fowler, I think, is a guy that we have in net. But again, like you said, with young goalies, I have a really hard, yeah, it's literally just shrug emoji. Like, who knows?
We'll see.
Yeah, like Monty was
Maybe he'll
a
be
waiver
awesome.
pickup. Yeah, yeah, like there's, you never know. I'm hoping. Everybody seems to say that like he's got it, but goalie. I think this is controversial. It's controversial, and I see the chat egging me on. Guys, you are trying to get me to say something that people are going to clip. However, um, I think I think Caden Gooley can, if he can stay healthy, can be a big part of the top four of that defense.
Oh, he should be. He's awesome. He's
He's
awesome, and
great.
he's just breaking out. I am such a big fan of his. Have been for a long time. I'm a full believer that he's going to be a good top four defenseman for a long time in the NHL.
Goolie Nation, baby. Goolie Nation keeps winning. Um, it's you have to, him getting his thigh slashed by his own skate is not injury proneness. That is really terrible
Yeah.
luck. Um,
Yeah,
I
you're
s-
telling me it's how Gabe Landeskog's knee injury started.
exactly. No structural. We had this little joke about no structural damage in David Reinbacher's knee, which is good. That is what you want.
That's a positive thing. You don't want structural damage.
You do not want structural damage. But like I worry about it, quote unquote injury prone once it's the same kind of body thing that keeps happening or same body part. What word was I looking for there? Jesus.
Yeah, if you have a guy that has a lot of soft tissue injuries, your biggest concern is a conditioning problem. You're really worried about, oh, is he not taking this seriously enough? Um, that's the stuff that really makes you concerned. If a guy does, like Eric Johnson's had a bad knee ever since a golf cart ran over him when he was like 19 years old. So
No, that
he
was
never got
rough.
it's still bad. It's still a bad knee.
Yeah, that's
And
rough.
can you manage it? If you can manage it and you learn to play through it and it's just a thing, then great. But if you can't, then if you end up with one of these fluke things like we've seen with Landeskog, then sometimes this stuff happens.
Stuff does happen, and it's a random game. It's real fast. Josh Anderson, I'm not sure if you saw Trinka says Galley's hand. Yeah, getting your hand blown to smithereens by Shea Weber's shot is not well, he's your own teammate, is not something that you can anticipate. That's
Get out of the way, Galley. Jeez.
it's so easy. He's clearly
Yeah. It's not like that was a bazooka shot at you.
it's not like that's gotten so many guys before or something. But okay, so guys, I do have to let AJ go very, very soon. I'm gonna keep him for another 5 minutes because I want to see if you guys have any burning questions for him, if it's Avs related or his opinion on the Habs. I am happy to ask them.
Yeah. Whatever. We can talk about food. I don't care.
Oh, just real quick, did you notice Jaden Struble?
I did. I thought about him a lot actually during this game.
Yeah.
Um, I like his compete level, but he kind of bad. He had a
You
bad
think
night.
so?
I'll
You
say
think so?
I, I I thought he had a bad night. I don't want to say he's bad overall. I just thought that the Avs rocked him.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, he's kind of the only option they have right now to play with Lane Hudson. You're not putting him at David Savard. Arbor Xhekaj and his style just does not seem to match up. I wonder why. And who else is there? Mike Matheson is unfortunately in his tragic Mike era rather than his magic Mike era. And Alexander Carrier only seems to belong with Caden Cooley. He has been struggling since he was injured. Um,
Carrier is he's one of those guys that kind of needs a specific type of partner. Just because he's such a strange combination of skills, where he's a good puck mover, but he's not great at it, and he's not really an offensive guy, and he's so small.
mhm,
So Carrier, I mean, he's kind of like a Sam Girardish, where you're like it's such a strange combination of
yeah.
skills that it's hard to find a really good partner for him. Um, with Struble, the Avs they took a lot of advantage of him tonight with
Mhm.
their second line, the Brock Nelson line, ate him up
Yeah, yeah,
over and over and over and over.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, that, you know, it's he's a lot better. He's very improved, I think, is the big thing here. Um, wait, first, guys, before I go on, I do need to tell you guys a little bit about Le Saint Motel, just from Andrew's side. So I am going to hand you guys over there, and then we're gonna do like one question, AJ, and then I'll let you go. We'll be right
Sounds good.
there, right back.
Looking to make awesome memories for your business? Check out Le Saint Motel in Montreal's Sud-Ouest borough. It's an amazing selfie studio located in Montreal's historic Chateau Saint-Ambroise, right next to Inchoo Bijoux. It boasts 12 plus unique decors for you to enjoy and make memories with. Hop into their iconic heart-shaped ball pit or transport yourself back in time to Expo 67. Le Saint Motel can also come to you with mobile decor setups available to rent for events, including setup and takedown, or you can head to lesaintmotel.com right now for more details, or to check out their amazing decors that are always being updated. Now, let's get back to the show, but before you do, make sure you subscribe to Game Over Montreal, Game Over Network, and smash like on this video because it really helps us out.
Okay, folks, we are back. Oh, yeah, I think, sorry, just to touch on Carrie a little bit. Him and Gooley seem to work so well. Like, that was like, I joked when Gooley got injured. I was like, Carrie's gonna miss his work husband. And they really do miss each, I think he really misses his work husband because Mike Matheson and him just do not seem to work well together all that much. Um, I think Mike Matheson is an adventure. I am a Mike Matheson defender, by the way, for those in the chat. I'm a big Mike Matheson defender. We should all be a little bit nicer to him, but we should all also admit when he is not having a good night, we should all also be nice to him. I'm just gonna repeat that second bar. Um, uh, so I just want to really quickly. Oh, we got a question from Gregory. Says agent does Nelson resign in Colorado, and what kind of contract do you think he gets?
Does he sign in Colorado? My gut instinct would say no, but I would also say that this is highly contingent on what happens with Gabe Landeskog. He's going to play in the playoffs if he is healthy enough to play next season. I don't think Nelson can come back because the money is just going to be way too tight. If they have Landeskog's money available to them, I think the Avalanche will do probably something irresponsible to try and keep him. Like they'll give a 34-year-old player a 4 or 5 year contract,
Yeah.
which they should do at this point, like just so they can stop sinking assets into this.
Yeah.
So I think that's what they should do, but I think it would be really tough. It's going to be really tough, and like a worst kept secret kind of thing going around the league this year has been that Brock Nelson really wants to go back and play the end of his career in his hometown or his home state in Minnesota.
Yeah, Bernardo
So
Sonia says he's signing in Minnesota. I think
yeah,
that's
like
a yeah. But hey,
that's
winning
the
can make you do
prevailing
crazy
feeling. But
things. Winning can
exactly,
make
like
you do crazy things.
Colorado, Minnesota really aren't that far apart. It's an easy flight. I've done that flight a lot. It's fine.
Yeah.
And it's a better team. He's going to be better. Colorado's better than Minnesota. They're going to be better than Minnesota for the next 5 years, for the rest of his career.
Also, they don't
Is it
suck.
really that important? You know,
Also, they're
the
not
money should be
boring.
similar. Yeah, exactly. Oh my God, don't even get me started on what an affront to humanity that franchise is.
I think we're all on the same page there, AJ. So we are going to head out. Sorry, just gonna catch up a little bit on the chat. Alexander says just got back from the game as in the Victoire on Tuesday, the Rocket last night, and the Habs tonight. Sorry, everybody. I am personally holding you responsible for these losses then. Victoire, our poor team, which is so good and also tragic sometimes. Um, and yeah. Yes, sorry, just real quick. Gregory says 2C is the hardest position to find on hockey right now. The Habs also are going to need a 2C very soon this summer. They're trying that. The Avs have been searching for their 2C solution for a long time. And I'll let you guys go with that because we can start talking. Well, no, we're going to talk about hockey. We're going to talk about this team playing meaningful hockey for the next little while, but maybe once that's over, we can talk. We can talk 2C. Mitch Marner is not coming to the Avs if we can't make it back. No. No.
It'd be fun.
Yes, but no. I can't do it. I can't be made to cheer for Mitch Marner. Okay, guys. I love you very, very much. Thank you so much for sticking by. AJ again from DNVR. I will have all of his information in the description box. I am also around and you also will get all my information in there. And go Avs Habs go.